Everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out today.
Hi.
So I have a couple of things on the agenda as always, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Just a reminder that we're recording this and it will be posted on the blog by Thursday, if not sooner. So I have a couple things to discuss, as I said. There are new instructional videos on the MIS, and they are posted on the blog and in the help section of the MIS. By the way, I just want to let everyone know that help feature that we went over last time is now on the live site. And I don't know if you've noticed, but on most of the pages, there's that at the very top center, there's a button that says, need a little help here. And if you click on it, there are updates and helpful hints, and in most cases, the video instructional videos are there too. So if you're having a hard time entering a form or logging in or getting through the report catalog, you can take a look at those. We will be adding and editing these help boxes all the time. They're going to have answers to frequently asked questions and updates to the specific form that the box is on. So I hope that you guys like it. And if you have any other ideas for it, just email me or give me a call and we'll see what we can do. Does anybody have any questions about the help feature? Okay. So let's move on and talk about transfer cases. We have received a few questions and requests to make crucial case information available on the MIS when a case is transferred from one Healthy Families location to another. Unfortunately, we are not able to make that happen. It is a privacy issue for the family, especially if the case turns out not to be transferred. The policy has always been that the potential new program calls the former program for this essential information, and that is what we're recommending. Correct, Kareen?
Yep.
Thanks. So the last thing that I have here is it's actually a question for.
Yeah, go ahead. Corey, we had discussed using a form that is now going to be under the help on that page. Do you remember, or somewhere on the transfer, whatever?
Oh, okay. I remember talking about it, Kareen, but I didn't think that we actually put it in stone. I thought that we were sticking to the call, but yeah, we can definitely use the form and put it right on the transfer case page for you guys to use. So thank you for that, Kareen. So now I have a question for all of you, and this was an idea from a New York user that we thought might be helpful. Do you guys think adding a section to the FSS tickler with the last update to the service plan would be useful? Anybody?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We had an idea from another user, and the idea was to add a section to the FSS tickler that lets you know the last update to the service plan. And I'm asking if you guys think that would be useful.
And I can see a lot of yeses.
The chat has spoken.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So I guess, Ben, we can go ahead with that. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, person who suggested it.
Uh-oh, I see a no there.
Oh no. So Jane, what is your reason for the no? Can you share with us?
The way that we've always used the service plans are that we just, and I think it's true for all the supervisors here in our Lincoln, Nebraska HFA program, is that we continue to edit the same service plan. So I'm seeing a lot of like red things showing up that don't really indicate when we've last updated it. Like we don't have a whole chain of service plans there. We just have the one, and we go in there and edit and just continue right with that one. So anyway, for me, for our staff, it would be a warning that they don't need. So
Jane, I would
think
We
strongly,
can control it.
I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry,
go ahead,
Jay.
Trina.
No, I was going to
Go ahead.
say I would strongly suggest that instead of using the edit function, which the edit is for typos or for something that, you typed in and you want to go back on. So that's how you use the edit button. I would use the edit and pre-fill, because that one leaves the last service plan intact, pre-fills the new one that you're going to go with everything that you've done before, and gives you the date that you need. So then on the landing page, you have a history of all the times that you've updated it. And now with this tickler, you would have which was the last time that you did it.
right. Yeah. I'll take it under consideration. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The other option is that we can just make it not available to your state.
Yeah, that's another one.
If it doesn't fit your specific workflow, we can omit it for your state. So
Okay. No, I think that it's something that the 4 of us will talk about and just see. But for now, it's good to know that you can take it off, but we'll just leave it on for now. Okay. Thanks.
And Lisa Burmeister has added that her site has the supervisor do all the updates to the service plans. And could this be a reminder for the supervisors instead, or as well as?
we don't really have a supervisor tickler.
No, we don't.
We'd have to think about that a little bit.
And Nora wants to know, what about having it on the QA report?
Oh my goodness, that report.
I feel the same.
But we can definitely, Nora, look into that.
What would be the purpose for it being on the QA report? I'm not sure if I'm connecting there.
Well, we usually use the QA, at least in New York. We use I always call it the not so strength-based report, but basically the QA report is the one that gives you things that are missing. So you can use the QA report to take a look and see, and it, because it has like links to the cases itself. So it's a very useful report, but it's not like, I always say it's like not like ATPing anybody. It's usually saying or raising flags as to things that are or will be missing by the end of the quarter.
Melissa's adding that she uses it now for her site. Are you saying that you use the QA report to, as kind of a tickler for the service plans, Melissa?
And also, I'll get as much info as I can from wherever I can, in particular about the service plan, because that was the one area when we first started seeing families, we were unaware, we were still learning. And I'm reviewing performance indicators and QA report to see where we could have done better for our site visit that's coming up in a couple weeks. And I was thinking, I'm in agreement about it being on the tickler, first of all, because I just think that would be helpful. And now you got me thinking if we need something for the supervisors to look at. I also help out with updating the service plan after reflective. And that was the one area where we really needed improvement, entering that service plan within the allotted amount of time. So wherever we could find it, that makes more sense. So we could improve would be great.
Yeah, I think the QA might be a good report to take a look at and see whether we can put it, because I totally see supervisors using it just for that. Yeah.
Stephanie Gillette asked if it could be a section on the dashboards for the supervisors, a list of service plans that were last discussed per family. The dashboards are so busy. I don't know how you guys feel, but the programmers.
But you do have the report, Stephanie, that gives you the last discussion that happened about that family. So you do have a report that you can run.
Right.
This is more like a quick way of looking at, okay, who do I need to make sure that we are discussing? Because sometimes, unfortunately, cases do fall through the cracks.
Yeah, there is somewhere in MIS where you can go and you get a list of the service plans that are needed to get when was the last discussion, because we use it all the time for the service plan and for the family goal plans. That gives us a whole entire list. It is in MIS already.
Yeah, that is exactly Marisol, what I was saying. Like, there is a report for that. There are 2 reports. You have the last discussed, and it has a list of service plans that you need to discuss, and then you have the 6-2, the family goal plan one that needs to be updated. So we look.
And we use those reports too. The question that was posed by Corey in the beginning was, would it be useful to be on the tickler? For us, it wouldn't be. It's fine if it is, but really it's a supervision for the best practice. It's a supervision collaborative conversation. So it happens in supervision. The supervisors are in charge of really making sure that it's done, even if the home visitors add to it. So it's still a supervisor's responsibility, not necessarily a home visitor's responsibility to make sure it's updated.
Yeah, I get you, Stephanie. Yeah, I think that's why I'm leaning more on something that the supervisors will use more than the tickler. Yeah, you're right.
I think anything that's going to serve as a reminder for supervisors that, hey, check this. I mean, it could be ASQ, ASQSE, the PHQ9. I mean, any of those things would be helpful if there was.
Those are on the QA report now.
Yeah.
So you can check those.
Anything that would just flash. I mean, when you're preparing for your reflective, if you could just go through and say, oh, this person, remind them that the PHQ is coming up, or ASQ, anything like that would just kind of streamline. And, you have your own check sheet right there per each family. That would be great, instead of, I make my own. But, just having that there in front of you would be really great. And you wouldn't have to run the report. It would just be tied to, I know when you go in and you hover over, it'll be there, but you wouldn't have to do it individually. I know that's a big ask.
You do have, I was just wondering if, you do have the dashboard where you have everything on it. You have every single case there, and you have things. But let us know if you want things differently.
I mean, I'm just, because of this small conversation we're having, I'm wondering if we do in fact need a supervisor tickler, like if it would be helpful to have like a monthly tickler or something, but that's a bigger conversation for programmers and things. So.
Yeah, because I know my program manager often asks, how many families do the ASQ? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to go in, and find it. So anything that, could streamline, as I said before, would be helpful.
So does anybody have any other questions or comments about the service plan, and perhaps having some kind of the FSS tickler or the QA reminding people when the last service plan was before we move on? Okay, if it's okay with everyone.
Sorry,
Go
Corey,
ahead.
before we move on, I just wanted to also acknowledge Carly's comment that she said maybe it would make sense to Also flag something about it in the supervision form, but we'll also take that comment into account. We didn't acknowledge that comment. I just wanted to.
Oh, I was going to. I just wanted to know if anybody else, but thank you, Jay. Okay, so, and again, if you guys think of something after about the service plan or have an idea about the service plan and what you think would work, please just send us a ticket or send us an email, or and we'll bring it to our next weekly discussion. Just so you guys know, I don't know if you're aware, but every Monday we have a meeting, and usually the Monday after this meeting, we have a lot of things to talk about and a lot of things to bring to the table. So thank you so much for all your input. So I guess with that, I am done with my little list. So I'm turning it over to you guys. Just questions and answers. Questions, ask away.
I have a question. So I was wondering if there was any way, and again, I don't know if this is even doable. On the retention report, is there a way to list the families that have closed that are affecting the 1 year retention? Like during that time frame. I don't know programmatically if that's possible, but digging through so that we can maybe reflect back with staff on what could we have done differently? How could we have retained these families? Did we close these families appropriately? Those kinds of conversations and supervision would be really helpful. So I just, aside from running a million other digging through reports, didn't know if that was possible.
What does everyone else think about that idea? Would that be helpful? Is that something that everybody would be interested in? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just was going to say that without even asking the programmers if that's possible, I'm asking everyone else if they would like it. So sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say that the closed case list report may meet your needs there. I want to take a closer look to see if they jive with each other. But the closed case, you can give a specific date range of when the case is closed, and that may help. But I'm going to look and see if that's appropriate.
I want to actually add to that, because aside from when the case is actually closed, it would be helpful to know some of the details about, the cases that close, what age range do they fall into, kind of seeing a little bit more of the raw data. When I see like, okay, 2 families closed within 6 months and both of them were age, under 18 or something like that, be able to kind of take a look at that. We'll have those to trying to work backwards and find out based on, some of the other reports, which cases those are.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. I think our outlook right now is that the retention rate report is quite complicated already. But I think, if we can help your analysis of improvements in that report, then we certainly want to do that. But as I said, we need to discuss it a little bit.
I believe the closed case report does list the length in the program, as well as I think it's age of the primary caregiver. I'm not sure if it also lists age of the target child, but would we run that report specific to the same dates we would use to measure retention, because we're looking at like a year back?
You would have to adjust the dates because you would want to see the cases that were discharged from the starting to the ending date of your retention rate analysis, which, as you pointed out, is in the past. But that's how you would see. That's how you would choose the criteria for the closed case report.
The workaround that I've done, because it's just easier to filter, is running the person profile report and filtering out the dates that they enrolled, and you can really kind of see the information there. If it's something that can be easily done so that it's within the retention rate report, that would be great. But you can kind of do it roundabout using that person profile report that goes to Excel.
I just took a look at the closed case report, and it actually does have the close date and the reason it was closed and the length of time that the family was in the program and the number of home visits that were completed during that time. So it does have a lot of information, but like Jay said, we'll probably talk about it Monday and see what we can do.
Yeah, and again, our standard caveat is that every report is designed slightly differently. So using one report to help explain another report doesn't always work so well, but we'll certainly take that into account as we discuss it. And again, we love these suggestions, and a special gold star to Emily for using the person profile report in a way to not just do mailing labels, which is really what it's designed for, but awesome.
Emily says she loves getting gold stars. Yay.
Good, because I love giving them.
No, he doesn't. Anyways, Trish had a question. Would it be possible to add columns in the active referral form and the referrals waiting for screen form for the estimated due date and town? I'm not quite understanding.
So when we're looking at the active referrals, it'd be nice to be able to see when the estimated due date is right at a glance. It helps with like outreach and assignment, and also to have the town that the family lives in, because that also helps with case assignment. Just to be able to see it at a glance in the report on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay. I've written it down and it's on the list for discussion.
Thank you.
Nora has a question. If we do change the closed case report, it would be great to add if the parent had the big three at enrollment. Currently, we have TANF eligibility on there. So yeah, that would be.
Yeah, TANF is not very appropriate these days, but again, this report has not been modified for years. So we'll take that into account, certainly, Nora, when we're discussing these potential changes. And again, we love the suggestions, so thank you.
Great. Davina says, on the intake form, is there any possibility to update the part how many years to USA? So in order for us to choose between months and years for the new family, or should we just put 0 if they haven't lived for a whole year?
Yeah, just use 0. It's a small data point. It's not really used anywhere else. It's not all that important, to tell you the truth. It's just sort of an interesting thing, but we really don't need to know if they've been in the United States for 3 months and 4 days and 6 hours and 2 minutes. It's not really that important.
Emily's going for another gold star. Can the frog form be amended in a way that the home visitor can save? I think every single meeting we have, somebody asks this. So Emily's asking for a partial save button to the frog. And if the frog is done over the course of 2 visits, if the home visitor wants to start entering information, they have to enter frog completion as a date as a placeholder, and then go back and change it later. Don't know if you're going to get a gold star for this one, Emily, because like I said, we have this question every time, and every time the answer is no, that they're not going to put a partial save button on the frog, because we have a workaround for it, which is certainly not perfect. But the workaround is to complete the first tab, all the required fields on the first tab, and to answer questions 14 and 15 on the second tab, and then save it. And then, every time you finish one of the domains, save it again. I'm sorry, submit it again.
The other benefit I was thinking of, of it being saved as partial, is the supervisor will know when, if the staff member is still working on it versus, it's ready to be reviewed.
Yeah, so the issue with the frog comes down to that anybody who uses the home visit log, which has a partial save functionality, it's extremely cumbersome on the back end to implement, because we have the form review built in. So if you do a partial save, we have to save the form somewhere, but then the supervisor is not allowed to approve it until it's completely done. It's not that we can't do it. It's just the amount of effort that would be involved is significant for something that we already have a workaround for. Maybe what we're hoping for, and we have it in our list of things to do, but it's on a real back burner based on when we don't have a lot to do. And then maybe we can start looking at it. It's probably like a 1-month job. So it's a huge amount of work, a huge lift. So for right now, we're going to keep it on the back burner. We're not getting rid of it. It's just something that's significant amount of time and effort.
Another question. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I just wanted to say sorry.
Oh. Do you plan to make the critical health and safety checklist specific on the family timeline? I thought that we were going to do that. I thought that was
we added the critical health and safety checklist to the family timeline, but the individual items we can't add specifically, I don't think.
There's far too many, right?
Yeah. And I think there was date range issues involved as well.
Yeah.
So I think on the family timeline, that's just when you're supposed to review all of the items. I think it's 1, 2, and 4 months after the first home visit date.
And you do have in the policy, Liddy, the list of which are those that you have to review by 1, 2, and 4 months. So yeah, you get the reminder and you say, hey, I have to do this. And then you have to have that list to remember which one the items are that you need to review.
All right, thank you.
I have a question. We're now starting to, have more families enrolled. So we're using more of the tabs and different things. So I'm wondering if for the QA report, is there a tab that matches currently for the most part that we could run a report for most of the items that's on the QA report?
No, most of the items that are on the QA report, well, again, the report has not been modified for quite some time. So over time, concerns change and things that we want to monitor change. But the point of the QA report is that it collects useful pieces of information about certain groups of forms and families that are not captured on other reports. And that's kind of how they ended up there. But I mean, some of the reports do have a report that may be similar or deal with the same data, but for the most part, those things can't really be calculated other places, and that's why they're listed there, because they're things to pay attention to.
Thank you.
Trish mentions, has there been any discussion about including appointments for home visits in the MIS? Would that be beneficial? What kind of appointments are you talking, like scheduled visits?
Yeah, so any scheduled appointment visits for, home visits would to have its own kind of web part field in MIS. Would that be beneficial?
Well, we collect the next scheduled date for each family. And I think our thinking has been that we don't want to rewrite Outlook, like Outlook appointments. And I know that's not ideal, but certain things can be shared amongst your agency in Outlook, as far as schedules are concerned. But it's just something that we thought that there were much better tools for that purpose, and so we've never really built it into the MIS. Anyone can
Okay, I was just curious.
comment if I'm wrong.
I just thought it might be helpful to, since it's part like the home visit, to have it all be in one place. Like I understand that everybody uses Outlook, but also just, to be able to, again, see at a glance how many appointments were seen right there in its own web part. Just a thought.
Trish, I just had an idea though. Since we do collect the next scheduled date on each home visit log, we probably could put together a report that just goes through the last home visit for every family and spits out that date. I mean, it would be very rough, and you wouldn't be able to make changes to it without going back to the individual home visit logs. But if there's some use in that, I don't think that's a difficult report to write. So that might be a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's how we end up with 150 reports.
Does she get the gold star too, or?
She does get it. Oh, a Taylor Swift heart. Thank you.
Just as a heads up, the worker does have a list of their next scheduled visit dates on their dashboard. There's a widget right below active cases that will list each case and the scheduled visit date from the previous visit.
But the supervisor can't see that, right?
No.
If
you can
if
impersonate
the supervisor
each of your
impersonates,
staffs.
yeah,
right. But that's another step, right? Like, yeah, might as well just look at
and that wouldn't show you, right? That wouldn't show you all of the scheduled appointments for all of the staff.
Yeah, I would show you only yours.
But that is a good starting point, though. I think, and obviously we're collecting it there. We could collect it for a report, but Green's also right. We want to try to avoid having so many reports that it's impossible to find the one you want. But I don't think we're there yet. But we just want to be aware of that, though.
anyone else? Anything?
This has been a very, very full of ideas meeting.
Yes. Everybody took their creative pill today. So I can take this opportunity to let you know that our next Healthy Families discussion is scheduled for Thursday, May 23rd at 11 a.m. I will send an invite as we get closer to the date. And just remember, you can share this invite with your program. If you can't attend, maybe send another person who has the time or who is interested. Just an idea. I will also post this date and time on the first page of the blog. Last chance, guys. Till next time.
Thank you. Thank you all
you.
for everything.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.